VZoom offers a variety of helpful GIS tools. This particular section will focus on 4 primary tools that enable VZoom to use GIS shapefiles. The sections are as follows. 1. Learning about how VZoom uses projections. 2. Importing and exporting shapefiles. 3. Inserting backgrounds into VZoom. 4. Performing intersect operations. 5. Establishing a geodatabase connection. VZoom contains the full set of projection systems used in standard GIS software. When opening VZoom for the first time, the VZoom projection will be used. It is highly recommended to use a projection system specific to your region of study. The projection system is defined in the Network Parameters menu. This menu can be accessed from the menu bar via Network Parameters. In this menu, there is the Network Scale parameter. Ordinarily, this should not be changed except in the case of switching projections that use different units of measure. For example, switching from a state plane to a UTM projection. To change the network projection, check the radial button From File in the Systems of Coordinates area. Then, click on the button to the right of that radial button. From within this window, you will be able to choose the coordinate system to be used. It is recommended to choose a projected coordinate system such as a state plane projection. Shapefiles can be imported, stored, modified, and exported using VZoom. To import a shapefile, select from the Start menu, File, Import, Shapefile. VZoom will automatically detect if the shapefile consists of points, polylines, or polygons. Shapefiles with points can be imported as nodes, zone centroids, main zone centroids, territory centroids, or POI. Shapefiles with polylines can be imported as links, screen lines, connectors, or POI. Shapefiles with polygons can be imported as zones, main zones, territories, or POI. The Open Shapefile dialog box will allow you to select a few options for importing the shapefile. These options are different depending on the type of shapefile imported. There will be 3 demos done for each type of shapefile import. This first demo involves a point shapefile. The Open Shapefile dialog box will allow you to select a few options for importing the shapefile. If the option Read Additionally is not checked, a new network with newly inserted objects only will be created. If the option Read Additionally is checked, the objects will be read in addition to the existing objects. In order to insert objects into a POI category, the Read Additionally option must be checked, and the POI category must already have been created to be selected from. If the Read As option is set to a POI, an additional drop-down menu will allow selecting the POI category to read the shapefile into. If the option Set Coordinates of Existing Centroids is checked, VZoom will modify the position of the centroids of zones, main zones, or territories to the coordinate in the shapefile. To complete the process, the Key column should be selected. The Key column is an attribute from the shapefile that should be selected to match the associated VZoom zone number, main zone number, or territory number. The option offset can be used to specify the starting number at which the shapefile objects will be numbered from. When the offset is entered, the number of the object will increase from the higher of either the value of offset entered or the highest number of an existing network object. If imperial units is checked, values such as miles per hour and miles will be used instead of kilometers per hour and kilometers. This second demo involves a polyline shapefile. Most of the options described in the previous slide are the same when reading a polyline shapefile. When reading polylines as links, there are 2 specific options. If the Create Directed Links option is checked, the information from the polyline will only be applied in the direction that the polyline travels. Otherwise, it is copied in both directions. The snap radius is a distance threshold in which a link is snapped to an existing node if it falls within the snap radius. By default, it is set to a low value in unclear units. Polylines can be read in as connectors as well, but they must be read in additionally. If Node is Starting Point is checked, the connectors will be created from the node to the zone. The key column for zone and key column for node should both be set to the shapefile attribute representing the zone number and node number respectively. Transport systems, type number, and time can be defined in the areas near the bottom of the screen and will be applied depending upon the setting specified by the Node is Starting Point checkbox. vZoom will assign all connectors a weight of 1 for the share in each direction. This third demo involves a Polygon shapefile. Most of the options described in the previous slide are the same when reading a Polygon shapefile. This time we are going to import the shapefile as main zones. When reading polygons additionally, there is a checkbox called Replace Boundaries. If this is checked, the boundaries of the Polygon shapefile will become the new boundaries of the object in the vZoom file. Once the desired settings have been made, click OK to begin the importing process. vZoom will automatically detect all the variables from the associated .dbf file of the shapefile. It will try to match them to both internal and user-defined attributes. If the attribute name does not exist in the vZoom file, a new UDA can be created in one of two ways. The Generate button will automatically generate a UDA with an integer type for every attribute not currently defined. Please note that once the UDAs are automatically generated, the name of them cannot be modified unless they are deleted from vZoom. If any attribute is not an integer type, a UDA can be defined in greater detail by clicking on New in the row of the relevant attribute. vZoom allows the inserting of backgrounds into the network view area. Backgrounds can be scaled manually or inserted using position data. For ordinary travel demand modeling applications, backgrounds can be manually scaled. However, if the background is to be used to align a network exactly to the background image, that is, for export of the network to vZoom, it is recommended to use exact position data for the background image. To start inserting a background, either via manual scaling or using a world file, the first step is to select the background element from the Network Elements toolbar. Activate also the background element. Select the Add function and click in the network. If manual background scaling is to be used, the position checked in the network will set the position of the top left corner of the image. Select the image to load. If the image selected has associated position data, vZoom will automatically detect this and ask if the position data should be used. In this first example, inserting a background image without the position data will be demonstrated. Inserting backgrounds into vZoom will start to consume higher amounts of memory, which will cause vZoom to take longer to run, depending on how many background images have been inserted and the speed of the computer. Next, activate the background image dialog by switching to Edit mode and clicking anywhere in the network. The background dialog box will appear, which offers a number of manual scaling options for background images. A list of background images will appear in the main list area. These can be ordered in order of display using the up and down buttons on the right. To move the image about the network, click the mouse to activate mouse mode. Click and drag the mouse to move the image to another position. Once finished moving the image, click OK on the mouse mode dialog box. To scale the image based on the distance between 2 points in the image, click on Scale. The scaling option will be active while in edit mode, but it is possible to zoom in to select the points. Click on a starting point and then drag the mouse to the ending point and release. Enter the distance of this length. The image will now be scaled according to this distance. Further positioning of the image using mouse mode can be used to refine the position of the image. A few other scaling options are available using the Edit feature. The Edit Background Image dialog box has a few different methods for scaling the background image, which are selected from the drop-down box. The default scaling type allows a horizontal and vertical factor to be added. Selecting OK will apply the changes. The next method is to set the bottom right position of the image. The final method is to set the absolute size of the image. Some additional features are included for applicable types of image files. These include the ability to rotate or set a transparent color of a background image. Once the desired position has been set, the position information can be saved by clicking World File. This will create a world file associated with the image in its current display configuration. Inserting background images that already have position data is a much simpler process. Simply select Yes when vZoom offers to use the position data of the image. So long as the network projection and the projection associated with the image match, vZoom will align the image exactly according to specifications. vZoom offers the capability to perform intersecting operations on most network elements using the multi-edit feature. The intersect option will populate the target value specified with the result of an intersect operation. The vZoom Fundamentals Manual has further descriptions and pictures of exactly how the intersect operation works. Within the intersection dialog, the first option allows a setting to take either the sum, minimum, maximum, or average value from the intersect operation. The next box contains information about settings for the target attribute where the value of the intersect operation will be written. In here, the buffer size from the target object can be defined. Please take note that the exact buffer created will vary depending on whether the object is a point, polyline, or polygon. The box on the right defines the settings for what value to use. The value can come from a number of certain network objects that can be selected from the drop-down box. The option to intersect with only active network objects can be checked above the drop-down box. Below the drop-down box, the attribute to use can be selected. By default, the value of 1.0 is used for all applicable network objects found in the intersect. Other attributes from the network object can be selected by clicking on the Attribute button. The buffer size of the source network objects may be defined as well. At the bottom, the options to use an increased arithmetic calculation algorithm and a choice to round the resulting intersects are shown. The settings that are presently shown will populate each stop point's addVal1 attribute with the number of single-family units found in the prorated size of each zone within a half mile of the stop point. vZoom also enables direct interface with shapefiles. To edit a shapefile directly in vZoom, you will first need to establish a connection to a personal geodatabase. Please note that this requires an ESRI license. Select File, Import, Connect to Personal Geodatabase, and then select the desired shapefile. vZoom will then import the shapefile into the GIS Objects Network element. From here, it is possible to edit the GIS objects either from a listing, through double-clicking on a GIS object, or by using the multi-edit function. vZoom will save the shapefile upon closing.